Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Shai, Hashem, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000. The rest of you elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, GMS are known for these things, says Vocab Malone. So this is a video that I put up 2 years ago. I don't even remember putting it up. And he gives you a list of things that GMS members from the leadership on down would say, their belief system. And he kind of puts it out there like we're crazy. But, and I'm going to see where I'm going to go with this. I don't know how long this is going to be. Just listen.
Video. Yeah, and I told you my top three, and you was in disagreement that I would pick GMS. Now you see why I would pick GMS. You said they would actually talk to you, wouldn't turn their back, they would face you, and you know.
But so, you didn't make the list, Sonetta, your favorite people, the ones you like. You made it the most biblical. That's what you said it was. GMS is out here running, talking about.
So vocab, I'm getting you ready for this. So the argument was, or the question was, the top three biblical camps, and Sonetta said GMS is the top three big biblical camps, meaning we deal with the Bible exclusively out of the Bible, which we do. So this is what vocab says. He speaks on a couple of different things, and we stand on those things to this very day. We haven't changed, and he doesn't realize, because the Most High is not dealing with him at all. Period. So listen up.
The most biblical. That's what you said it was. GMS is out here running, talking about. I mean, the RFID chip is the mark of the beast.
That means he watches everything that we do. Everything that we do. Every video that I do, he watches. He studies. If he doesn't study it, somebody else, part of his motley crew, would watch it and study it. Or Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ricard, Apostle Ramla, any of the bishops. Even not all of the elders, I don't think, because he don't got that much time in the day to listen to all the GMS videos. But some of the guys that are more well-known of the elders of the various state camps that are always putting up videos, that all GMS members should be always putting up videos. You know, you're not just a guy sitting in the corner. You're just there, you know, just in case. You know, you're like the fire extinguisher. If there's a fire, it pull you out the wall, okay? But so he's saying we're not the most biblical group out there, because we're teaching this nonsense on the mark of the beast is the microchip. And I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said that, because that's what we do teach, and we stand on that. And he says it's crazy because the Most High is not dealing with him. Point blank, period. Let's hear it. I'm glad. Hey, look. Hey, Vocab Malone is a blessing and a curse. Do y'all agree? If you agree, put a 1 in the chat. If you disagree, put a 2 in the chat. But hey, you know, let me just go ahead and play it again. Because he said we're crazy. We're teaching these off the wall, bugged out, crazy doctrines. Market beasts, the microchip. You know, to him, that's, you know, I'm gonna let this marinate a little bit. To him, and that's a very important. That's one of the most important arguments or prophecies that's going to happen. And when it comes, he's not going to know about it. He's not going to know about it. He'll probably understand it and see it once it actually comes. So he's on a low level. He's a low frequency Edomite. That's another one you can use. You got anti-Christians and low frequency Edomites. Because there's some Edomites that know certain Edomites say, yep, the mark of the beast is the microchip. How did you learn that? So that would be a high frequency Edomite. Vocab happens to be a low frequency Edomite.
The most biblical. That's what you said it was. GMS is out here running, talking about, I mean, the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. GMS teaches that you know, where it says there's going to be 200 million soldiers, a large number of soldiers in Revelation. They teach that those are nuclear missiles coming on upon America.
Okay, good. I'm going to have to bring that back. So he quoted Revelation 9, and I believe that's the 16th verse. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Not going to make this long. At least I don't think. He said, let me just go to it. Because the consensus is, am I using that word correctly? Among the Christian community that the 200,000 are the Chinese army. We say it's the missiles, and we're right. Now, ISUPK, they say that it's the angels, that the 200,000 are angels. So let's go to that. Revelation 9, I believe it's verse 16. Anyway, like I said, Vocab Malone is a blessing and a curse. Because he says things that gets on your nerve. But then again, if you need a topic, just go to Vocab. You got a topic for a video. Okay, let me come up. This is the verse that I want, but let me come up a few verses. And the four angels were loose, which are prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of man. The third part of man represents Esau, the wicked, sons of the wicked. You got sons of the Most High, sons of the wicked, and sons of men. It says, and the number of the army, I'm sorry, I got to go up. And the number of the army of the horsemen, which are missiles, were 200,000, which is 200 million, which represent the nuclear warheads. And I heard the number of them, and thus I saw the horses or the missiles in a vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire. You ain't got no military army men, troops of men with breastplates of fire, because they would burn up. It's John is seeing the missiles coming from one direction to the other direction. He's seeing from the island of Patmos. He's seeing the missiles coming from Russia, going to the United States, and of Jason and of brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. And the reason why they were called the heads, he wrote down that they were the heads of lions, because the power is in the mouth of the missiles, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. So that's not talking about an army of Chinese people. They're not going to be shooting fire out of their mouths. But you can go and fact check me. I don't know if they changed it, but a lot of these prophetic, like guys like John Hagee, that's John Hagee. He said, if you know him, if you don't, you can look him up. I'm pretty sure he says that's the Chinese army. But it's not an army. It's not an army of men. It's their missiles is what John sees. These three was the third part of man killed. The third part of man represents Esau. But not all Edomites will die. The ones in the states in Babylon will die. But their system will go down. So their system will die. by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, the fire, smoke, and brimstone that come from the missiles, the ICBMs, which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, which the warheads, you can say that the cone with the warheads in it, that's the mouth. And when it opens its mouth, what comes out of it is warheads. And in its tail, the tail is the delivery system, which is the rocket or the missile itself. It says, for their tails were like unto serpents. Like if you took a serpent and the serpent was straight, and you put in an arrow, you frozen serpent, you shot in the arrow, that it would look like a flying serpent. And that's what Isaiah 14 says, seraphim, a fiery flying serpent. So the fiery flying serpent in Isaiah 14 is referring to missiles that Isaiah saw, and had heads, which represents the warheads, and with them they hurt. They don't just hurt, they kill. With fire, smoke, brimstone, right? Like it says in the 18th verse, fire, and by smoke, and by brimstone. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by what? Fire from brimstone. It actually mentions brimstone in Genesis, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go and fact check that, double check it. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not. That's talking about Edomites scattered throughout Europe, the NATO nations, Europeans, other nations. They're gonna be talking shit, and they ain't gonna bow down to us. So we're gonna have to make them bow down, which is beautiful because they're gonna give us a fight, and we're gonna bust all their asses, and then they're gonna realize, look, we can't deal with these people, and that's when we're gonna put them in work camps. So let's come back to this. So it said we're not biblical, we're not about the Bible, because we're teaching this nonsense on the microchip is the mark of the beast. I'm gonna hear this again, because he just doesn't know.
Like, you made it the most biblical. That's what you said it was. GMS is out here running, talking about, I mean, the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. Mm-hmm. GMS teaches that you know, where it says there's going to be 200 million soldiers, a large number of soldiers in Revelation. They teach that.
He says soldiers because that's what we've been taught. It's 200 million Chinese, the Chinese military.
Those are nuclear missiles coming on upon America. GMS teaches Babylon. All the texts describing Babylon, they're all actually describing America.
Hey, you can't see it. You can't see it. There's a reason why you can't see it. So we are the most biblical. Sarnetta was right. We are the most biblical, prophetic. I like to use the word biblical / prophetic group out there.
GMS teaches that Abba Bivens is John the Baptist. Elijah, or John the Baptist, rather, reincarnated. You know,
but other camps teach that. IUIC teaches that. ISUPK, I believe they still teach that. I know they did teach it, because General Yohanan from One West, and other groups that came out of, except for the GOCC, they're complete bug outs. Nobody even, they're like not even in the circle. You know, they're just so bugged, they're so to the left.
Abba Bivens is John the Baptist, and the Tahar might be Paul reincarnated. So, I mean, like,
well, for the record, I'm not Paul. I don't think I'm Paul. I don't believe I don't concern myself with being Paul. And Paul said in Romans chapter 9, what is it, the 3rd verse, 4th verse, he said he wished he could become a curse for Israel, so Israel doesn't have to go through the curses. Well, guess what? That's not me. My thing is F the 2/3. F them niggas. All right? So that right there proves that I'm not Paul, or Paul came back a little bit different. So, you know, for the record, I'm not Paul. At least I don't think I'm Paul. Okay, so it's not important. It's who you are now that's important.
These guys teach that that a woman is only there to make your sandwiches and have sex with. So that's why you can get with a woman of.
Never. When did I ever say that? When did I ever say I don't even eat? Look, I don't even eat sandwiches. I don't eat sandwiches. I don't eat bread. So what woman's gonna make me a sandwich? I don't eat bread.
Any other nation, they don't. That doesn't matter what she looks like or anything, because she's just there for you to poke and her to make some sandwiches and maybe raise it.
But we're gonna love our women. We're gonna love our wives, and the concubines we're just gonna pop.
Care kids, so GMS can have any kind of old wife. Tahar is known for saying he doesn't even teach his wife the Bible, but the scripture says, "Wash your wife with the water of the."
That's only if she's a believer. My wife is not a believer.
Word. So my point is saying, like, GMS is not the most biblical. They're my favorite in that they're as far as one West kids, they'll talk to me, but they're not the most biblical.
Who would be your top three?
He made the statement, Todd doesn't even teach his wife. Maybe it's because she's not a believer. I don't know if he ever read 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. Unbelieving wife. She doesn't believe. And you can have an unbelieving wife, unlike IUIC. So, I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about, but he did say GMS believes that the mark of the beast is a microchip. Of course we believe that. Of course we believe that. He said GMS believes that the 200,000 soldiers, meaning he has his own interpretation of, and that's a Christian, well, not all the Christians, but I've heard this before, that Christians teach that, and that's an old belief, that most Christian evangelists / prophets, whatever you want to call them, they'll say that the 200,000 in Revelation 9 is an actual army of men, but they say it's the Chinese. Well, you're going to find out that Revelation 9 chapter is talking about actual nuclear warheads. It's not talking about the Chinese. It's not talking about men. But the way he said it was, it's obvious. We all know that those are talking about men. That's what you say. You know, this man has a how can I say? He really believes he's an authority, and that what he learned and whatever theological seminary that he went to, spent 4 years, 8 years, whatever, he believes that that's the truth. So when he hears something from GMS or any other one Wester, he's like, these guys are crazy, because he's going by what he believes. And he's wrong. The mark of the beast is the microchip. Point blank, period. The 200 million, 200,000 in the book of Revelation are warheads that's going to destroy. And then he said, GMS believes that Babylon the Great is America. Babylon the Great is America.
Israelites that you go up against. Your toughest three.
Well, so now, okay, what's the parameters? You're saying my favorites, my toughest, those who are closest to the Bible? What's the question?
All right, I'm going to give you those who are close to the Bible. Also, those who give you a challenge. Like when you come to them and you talk to them and they give you some type of fight. Like, you know, you catch yourself sweating a little bit or happen to dig down in your bag and come up with some real gems.
I mean, I'm sweating if it's in Phoenix and it's hot. Not because of Phoenix, not because of Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah, you were sweating and stuttering when, this was maybe 2 years ago. You had we won all the smoke, which you stole from the Sakari. I'm going to take Sakari's side right now. And you I believe it was Deacon Hakar and Hassad, I don't know what his title is. They called the show, and as soon as they went into prophetic scriptures, I forget exactly which scriptures they went into it. I believe it was Revelation. I can't tell you what chapter. I don't remember. But as soon as Deacon Hakar started, quoting from Revelation 9 or whatever chapter he went to, you were stuttering your ass off. So you were sweating. You lose sleep over the reincarnation thing. And you came to the conclusion that in Matthew, the 11th chapter, when it speaks about, and if you receive this, this is Elijah, which is forth to come, you said, okay, the Lord did say that, which proves reincarnation. But Luke said something else. Well, when does Luke have authority over the Lord? And the reason why nobody wants to deal with you, which is good, is because you don't make no fucking sense. You come around like you're an authority because you went to a theological seminary. And the truth is not in there. And then you also said, another thing you said when we bring up Edom, you say the Edomites are done away with. Where's the proof? And this is why nobody wants to deal. You're the person that here we at the court playing ball, and we can all play, and you can't play for shit. So when you come around, everybody leaves. That's you. That's you, Vocab. The only thing that you do is you regurgitate what you learned in whatever theological seminary you went to for however many years. You don't understand the scriptures. Let's listen to a little bit more. Then he mentions Israel of God, which is IOG. And this group is based out of Chicago. And they know some scriptures, and they know that they're Israelites, they're Jakes, but the Most High is clearly not dealing with them, because they teach that other nations can join their congregation and that other nations can make it, and they'll use the term Gentile in the New Testament and in the Old Testament and say, well, that's talking about the Gentiles. So they really don't understand the scriptures.
But it's like this. When you talk about one West groups only, because it seems like you're talking about one West groups.
No, any groups. It ain't got to be one West group.
Oh, well then that's pretty, Israel of God, the Israel of God,
I can hear you say that. I never heard of them.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. They're probably the biggest Hebrew Israelite group out of everybody.
Biggest doesn't make it right. The biggest group doesn't make it right.
You heard that, Nate? Did you hear that, Nate?
The scriptures say, follow not in multitude to do evil. The biggest is not always right. It said, if the blind leadeth the blind, they shall both fall into a ditch. So just because they have a big following does not make them have the truth. And they don't have the truth. Solely because they teach that other nations can be saved, other nations can join their congregation. That's clearly off.
Listen to this. Let me tell you something. This is crazy. And you can look up articles about this because they had a little bit of a situation with the neighbors when they were building this thing, and so it made the news. But they have a church that's south of South Chicago, in a place called Riverdale. This church seats 6,000 people. It's by definition a mega church. The Israel of God in Chicago. 6,000. And that's not their only congregation. They got congregations in Atlanta. They got congregations in Africa.
And who heard of them? They're not big. The prominent members, the top guys that you always hear of on YouTube is the former Moon Westers. Now, IUIC got numbers, but IOG, Israel of God, they're pretty much a church organization with a Hebrew Israelite twist to it. They say Edomites can make it, and in the they go by the New Testament, Old and the New. Gentiles, when they come across the word Gentiles in the New Testament, they say that's talking about other nations. They probably believe that Cornelius is a Gentile that was accepted into the circle, so to speak. But anyway, let me let you listen to a little bit more, and then I'll get ready to close. I said I wasn't going to make this long.
Are they Messianic Israelites, or are they Old Testament Israelites? Or what kind of Israelites are they?
They're Messianic. They are Messianic. So they hold that the New Testament is the Bible.
And they don't understand the New Testament, neither do they understand the Old Testament. But I mean, they know that they're Israelites. I'll give them that much.
Jesus is the Christ. And what's interesting about them is that they stay off all the street drama. And in fact, they condemn it. They have a thing on their website that says, if you're teaching and preaching hate in our name, and then they put it in capital letters, cease and desist. So they don't identify with all that. They tell their members not to wear fringes. They have a different doctrine on the fringes.
Most High's not dealing with them, point blank, period. And you know how you know that the Most High's not dealing with him? Because Vocab's not messing with him. He's not rolling up on him. Because when he did go to their church, they welcome him in with open arms. They say, yeah, you can come to the thing anyway. You can attend. You can probably teach if you want. So he said, I'm not going after them. He's going after the people that really have the truth, which are the former one Westers. And number one on his hit list is GMS.
Are they located in New York?
Or are they keeping the Old Testament? In the book of Numbers 15 and 37, it says that you put a fringe on the border of your garment, and that you put a border of a blue upon the fringe, so that when you look down, you be reminded to keep the Lord. So where are we going off? When did the Lord say don't do that?
They have some folks in New York, but I don't know a lot about the New York camp. They're mainly in Chicago. So you have to go to Chicago to really meet the most higher ups, but they have people all over. There's another big one in Atlanta. There's one here in Phoenix. So I've attended service with them. Now, I'm not saying I think that they are right to the point of being properly biblically orthodox, to use a technical term. However, they act more Christ-like than most Hebrews-like groups, meaning they're very kind. And I learn a lot when I have a Bible.
Oh, the Lord was kind, all right, when he turned them tables over. It said of the Lord, I believe that's in Luke, the 19th chapter, the Lord said, I am an austere man. So the Lord was far from kind. The Lord cursed out his mother when she asked for him to perform the miracle of turning water into wine. He said, don't you know this is not my hour, woman? He rebuked Peter. Oh, the death angel, the grim reaper, if you want to call him, during the time of the Israelites coming out of Egypt, Mizraim, the death angel was the Lord. How do we know that? If you go to 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. So, what the hell are you talking about, Vocab? See, the Lord was kind.
Bible study with them.
Like I said, this is why no Israelite group want to deal with you, because we all dealt with you at one time or another, and it's a complete waste of time.
That's why I said call the cops on them. We don't want to talk to you, because you're a persona non grata. You're not invited. You're an unwelcome person. So stay away from the men of GMS. You can go mess with them other camps. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it on that. So this right here, I put this up 2 years ago. GMS declaring the end, simply entitled "Listen." So if you want to watch the rest of it, you go watch the rest of it. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next one. Shalom.